A very good evening to everyone. Let's begin with today's class. And as we say in the starting, let's crack CSIR-UGC together. I'm your educator. A little introduction I would like to give about myself. I'm a PhD school student at SBT, School of Biotechnology. I've done my graduation, post-graduation and MPhil in biotechnology, and I've qualified MP SLET examination 2008. I have a teaching experience of So let's aim to crack CSIR-UGC NET together. Before beginning with the topic of today, that is Lamarckism, let us have a small introduction about Unacademy. Unacademy is one of the India's largest platforms for the CSIR Life Science. What are the benefits with Unacademy is you will be getting daily life classes, there will be structured courses, there will be live tests and quizzes, and you will have unlimited access to all the data, videos, and quizzes available on the platform of Unacademy. So what is the benefit of daily life classes is that you will always feel connected, that something is going inside you. You are always connected with your studies. Then structured course means that the curriculum is formed in such a way that it is going to aim the upcoming exam. So it's a very structured, systematic kind of concept. Then there are live tests and quizzes. In those live tests and quizzes, you can just aim that, evaluate yourself whenever you are going for any kind of competitive examination. You need to know how much you have grasped so far. You cannot be like just go on learning without knowing how much has gone inside you. So live tests and quizzes can be very much be beneficial in evaluating that how much you have come so far. Then unlimited access from anywhere, just one subscription, and you will have so much of knowledge available at your mobile or at your laptop, whatever, that it will be like a ocean of knowledge. So this was about an academy. Then there are free live classes. So the faculties at an academy, they do lectures on YouTube. Then there are special classes and there are plus classes. So these are the three levels of the classes. So on YouTube, the classes are free. You can anytime go and watch our videos. Then there are special classes, and these special classes are also free of cost. For getting the access of these special classes, what you need to do is you need to download the app, Unacademy Learning app. Once you have downloaded it, just make your account and you will have immense knowledge over there, or immense access of the special free classes. And then this plus subscription is actually paid. You need to pay for this. And in this plus subscription, the structured courses are there, and for all the upcoming exams, crash courses are there, and then short term courses are there. So this is the thing with the free live classes. Then for the plus subscription, you need to pay certain amount, and that certain amount is also very pocket friendly, not much. So you can just pay a certain amount and go for it. What I would suggest is take a 12 monthly or 24 monthly subscription so that you can make the most out of all the videos available. And you can, in the duration of 12 months and 24 months, you will be able to attend the exam more than one or two times. So if once you are not succeeding, you can just revise what you have learned and you can just go for the second attempt, and definitely you are going to crack it. And in this plus subscription, you will be eligible to get a 10% discount if you are using my referral code, that is FB01. So please do not forget to use my referral code, that is FB01, to avail a 10% discount. So this was a small introduction about Unacademy. Let us start with the topic of today, that is Lamarckism. So the topic of today is Lamarck and Lamarckism. So before starting with the topic, just give me a second. I have a little confusion. So let me just rectify that. Yeah, okay. I was just looking for something. So we will be talking about Marxism, right? So for beginning with Lamarckism, let us have a small idea about evolution. What is this evolution? So evolution is actually gradual, heritable change genome, and it is actually based on the present criteria. Based on present criteria. Evolution. It's gradual, it is heritable change in the genome, and it is based on the present criteria. This is what evolution says, that it's a gradual heritable change in the genome of an organism. Now, this evolution actually is based on various theories. Theories of evolution. Theories of evolution. So, theories of evolution, they were given by various scientists. So, first of all, talking about the name of the scientist and the theory which they gave. So, Darwin gave the theory of natural selection. Darwin gave the theory of natural selection. Then Lamarck gave the theory of Lamarckism, or theory of inheritance of acquired characters. So, inheritance of acquired characters. Then after Lamarck comes Hugo de Vries. Hugo Vries. He gave the theory of mutation. So that is the mutation theory. Then after Hugo de Vries, Neo-Darwinism comes. Neo-Darwinism. Neo-Darwinism was actually the revised format of Darwin's theory in a new perspective, and it is also called as modern theory. Modern theory. So these are certain theories which you need to know, and in today's class we are going to talk about the theory of Lamarck, that is the Lamarckism. So the theory given by Lamarck is also called as Lamarckism. That is the Lamarckism. So it is the evolution theory, and in evolution theory it is actually called as inheritance of acquired characters. Inheritance of acquired characters. So the characters which are actually inherited in the lifespan of an organism is basically what Lamarck was trying to say. That if an organism inherits a certain character during his life, that will be carried forward. So this is the theory of acquired characters told by Lamarck. Now, talking about the postulates, Lamarck's theory. So postulates we are going to talk in two terms. Like postulates, first of all, I'll try to tell you the postulates in detail, and then we will talk about the postulates in a very concise manner so that you can just remember some of the keywords and you will be through. So let us talk about postulates. First postulate. So change in character occur by the environment, occur by the environment during the life of an individual, during the life of an individual, and become hereditary and becomes hereditary for next generation. For next generation. This is the first postulate. And what is it trying to say? That change in the character occur by the environment. Environment is the driving force for any kind of change which is occurring in an organism during the life of an individual, and gradually in the next generation it will be carried forward. So this is the first postulate given by Lamarck, and the words which you need to remember in this postulate is, you need to remember environment, that environment is the driving force, and the next thing is hereditary. Whichever change is occurring, that is hereditary. So environment is bringing the change, and the changes are constant, they are hereditary in the coming generation. Now talking about the second postulate, that is, according to Lamarck theory, according to Lamarck theory of evolution, the surrounding condition in which an organism is living cause it to have certain need. So according to Lamarck theory, surrounding play the important role, play the important or play most important role, play most important role bringing the change, in bringing the change. So here also, in this point also, the thing that you should remember is surrounding. Surrounding plays the most important role in bringing any kind of change, right? Then the next postulate says the need is fulfilled by modifying the existing organ or production of new organ. So need is fulfilled by the modification it is fulfilled by the modification of the organ or production of new organs. So either there will be development of existing organs, modification of the existing organs, or there will be production of all the new organs. This is what Lamarck is saying, that there will be production of new organ, or the organs which are already present, they'll be modified in a manner. So what next postulate says is, if there is a continuous use of this organ, then there will be modification in the individual, will lead to modification in individual. But if the organ is not used, then it will be made rudimentary. But if organ is not used, it will be lost. Will be lost. So these are the postulates of Lamarck's theory. We will understand these postulates in a better way if we are dealing with some of the examples. So let's have a look at examples. Very first example, I haven't included the common example for the first time. So first is cave fish. Now this cave fish, years before or generations before, it was having eyes, but it used to live in a very dark environment. So what happened, that there was no use of the eyesight. So this dark environment actually led into degeneration of the eyesight. Degeneration of eyesight. And because of this degeneration of eyesight, now this cave fish don't have active vision. So this is the theory of Lamarck, which explains the formation of degenerated eyes in cave fish. Now the second famous example, that is giraffe's neck. So giraffe's neck. Giraffe actually developed a longer neck and the longer forelimb. Why? Because maybe the environment, all the short um, vegetation which it could procure was actually eradicated. So giraffe's neck, it actually elongated, and the forelimbs also elongated for the consumption of the higher leaves. So this is also because of the environment. So what is changing in this case? Four forelimbs and neck. Forelimbs and neck. I can see some of the students, they are listening the lecture live. So it will be very much helpful for me if they comment in the chat box that they are understanding the concept. So there will be elongation in the giraffe's neck, right? Now, the most important thing that you should remember is the lack of scientific support in the case of Lamarck's theory. So Lamarck's theory, it lacks support of scientific evidence, lacks support of scientific evidence. So this is the thing, that it lacks the scientific evidence. If a question comes um, that amongst the following, which one is actually devoid of scientific evidence, so you have to go for Lamarck's theory. So this is an important point to remember, that Lamarck's theory, it lacks support of scientific evidence. Remember this thing well. Right now, as I told you in this beginning, that I'm going to make the things easier and going to tell you the postulates in a simplified manner. So simplified postulates. The simplified postulates, what does they say? First is needs. Because of the environment, because of this new need, some of the organs will be highly used and some of the organs will be underused. So disuse, and then inheritance of acquired characters. Inheritance of acquired characters. And after that, speciation will occur. Speciation will occur. So these are the simplified postulates. Just keep this thing in your mind, that there is a changing environment and it has led to new needs. Because of the new needs, there is high usage of certain organs, and certain organs, they are underused, to use and disuse. And once use and disuse has started, they need to be heritable in the upcoming generation. So inheritance of acquired characters, and because of the inheritance of acquired characters, there will be speciation in the organisms. They will change the species. This is the thing. Now let us talk about some more examples in support of Lamarck's theory. So examples, more examples. So why I'm talking about more examples? Because these examples are very important to remember. When you will just have a look at the examples, you exam if some question comes from these examples, you will clearly have an idea that okay, it belongs to Lamarckism. Otherwise, it will also develop a sense of understanding in you, how to take the things, how to understand the things. So first is giraffe. So this we have learned. What happens in giraffe? There is
overuse of neck, there is overuse of forelimbs, and thus it has very long neck and very long forelimbs. Second is snakes. So snakes also specifically two types, that is python and boas. These are the two types of snakes which have got rudimentary pelvic girdle. Python and boas, they have got rudimentary pelvic girdle. So what do we mean by rudimentary pelvic girdle? That is, these python and boas, they actually originated from kind of lizards. And lizards, they have pelvic girdle as well as front limbs. So pectoral girdle, they have got both of the girdles, these lizards. But because of the elongation in the body and because of the gliding behavior of snakes, there was no use of these legs actually. So rudimentary pelvic girdle can still be seen in python and boas, though it is of least use. So snakes, they are actually showing a support in terms of Lamarck's theory, that they were not actually being used at all. There was no use of pelvic girdle, no use of the development of hind limbs, so they they got removed. Right. Now talking about the third thing, that is aquatic birds. So what happens in aquatic birds, that aquatic birds, they do not use wings. Do not use wings, but they are actually highly into swimming, show high amount of swimming. So due to swimming, there is development of a flap between their toes and their feet. Development of flap between the feet and toes. So that is, it is in support of swimming. The padded feet is called as padded feet. So they will have a padded feet and they will be very easy for them to swim, but they don't use their wings at all. So the wings, they are becoming shorter and shorter and shorter day by day. Was the example about aquatic birds. And let us talk about flightless birds as well. Flightless birds, they do not fly at all. So one of the example of flightless birds, let us see ostrich. Ostrich, they do not fly for a longer duration, so they have got smaller wings with lesser capacity of flight. With lesser capacity of flight. So this is about the flightless bird, that is ostrich. Now the Lamarck's theory, as we said, that it is not at all a scientific theory. It is not supported by the scientific evidence. Then what is it actually based on? So Lamarck's theory or Lamarck's study based on comparative analysis. Based on comparative analysis, and that comparative analysis is actually between comparison between fossils and the living organism, between fossils and living organism, fossils and organism. The study is based on basically comparison, and it is not supported at all by any kind of scientific evidence. You should remember. Now, if we are talking about Lamarck's theory, and we are also saying that there are various other theories in this whole thing. So, what all are the theories that we have seen? Yeah. Here, theories of evolution. We have seen that there is a Darwin's theory. Then we have seen that there is a Lamarck's theory. Then Euclides gave the theory of mutation. Then modern theory, that is neo-Darwinism. So whenever there is a theory or there are four theories, there definitely there will be criticism of one theory, and there will be eradication of this criticism in another theory in the more younger or more modern theories. So what are the criticisms associated with Lamarck's theory? Let us have a look upon that, that how it is criticized and what was the need of development of a new theory. So yes, now the important point why it was actually just ridiculed that no, this theory is not 100% okay. Criticism. So for all the things there are pros and cons. So for this also criticism. So criticism in term of experimentation. So first criticism was actually done by a scientist named August Wien. August Wien. August Weismann, what he did was he gave theory of continuity of germplasm. Theory of continuity of germplasm. He gave this theory. So August Weismann, he was a German scientist. Now what experiment he did? The experiment that he did, he took rats. So he took one female and one male rat. He just cut the tail of both of the members and let them mate. When they mated and they produced offspring, so for them also he cut the tail, let them mate, and for every generation he was doing like that. He was cutting the tail, he was cutting the tail. So he did this cutting of tail for 20 generations. So if Lamarck's theory is correct, what it would actually lead into a tailless mouse or a mouse with a shorter tail, because they are not using this tail at all, and it is like as they are born their tail is gone. Just in their fetal lifespan there will be a tail, rest their tail will be cut off. So according to Lamarck they should have a smaller tail or they should be tailless. But what August's result was that even after 20 generations, even after 20 generations of cut tail mouse, there was no reduction size of tail. There was no reduction in size of tail or a tailless mouse. Nothing like this was obtained. So because of his result, it was clear that Lamarckism fails. Lamarckism fails by this experiment. Lamarckism fails because it is not actually fulfilling the criteria of Lamarck's postulate that if he's not using, the organism is not using a particular organ, so after generations it will go away. No, not at all. It has to be a genetic change, a prominent genetic change, but that was not happening because just phenotypically they were losing the tail. Second experiment was actually Pavlov's experiment. And what Pavlov did was he took dog, and every time when he feeded dog something, feeding time, he used to ring a bell. Rings bell. So whenever he was ringing the bell, the dog he was having this understanding that it is the meal time. So naturally it started producing the gastric juice or digestive juices. Digestive juice production on ringing the bell. On ringing the bell. This was happening. So this he did for some generations. The same thing was repeated. Same thing was repeated for some generation. Now, after this, what happened was that he took the next generation dog and he rang the bell. He took dog and rang bell, but there was no production of gastric juice because he was not sensitized. So the sensitization of genome was not occurring. The genome, it was not grasping the idea of ringing a bell and production of gastric juice. The genome was completely unaware that ringing a bell is related to production of gastric juices for the digestion of food which is going to be served. So this is how the Lamarck's theory was again failed through Pavlov's experiment. Lamarck's theory fails again. Now some more examples we are going to see. So other example is of wrestler's body. Of wrestler's body. So wrestler's body, not because of his genome. He actually works hard for this. Works hard for that six pack abs and for biceps and for triceps. It is not inherited in the genome. He has to work hard. So what if wrestler he's producing the offspring? So is it so that the kids of wrestlers they naturally have this triceps, biceps and abs? No, they don't have this. They have to work hard individually for that. So if a organ is being used highly, it is not compulsory that it will be inherited in genome and the next generation will come like this. So Lamarck was saying that if a particular organ is being used highly, it will be reproduced or it will be reciprocated in the next generation. But no, nothing like that is happening with the wrestler's body. So Lamarckism fails here also. Now, two, three more examples, uh, which is actually given everywhere. You need to know those examples. So next is about the ear and nose piercing. And nose piercing. So those people who have generations and generations of girls having pierced ear, they do not produce the offspring with a pierced ear or a bore in the ear or nose. The kid which are born, they have a normal earlobe, normal without any piercing or without any bore, they have the earlobe or the nose flap. So ear and nose piercing, which is actually going on since generations and generations and generations, is not producing a heritable gene. So again, the Lamarckism fails. Now talking about one more interesting thing that is related to the Chinese women. Chinese women. So what is the concept in China that the women having smaller feet they are considered beautiful. So as soon as a girl child is born, what they do is they put the wooden sandals in her feet or a shoes so that now the size of the feet is not going to increase beyond a certain point and it is going to have a restricted development of the bones of foot. So these Chinese women they have been doing this since generations and generations, uh, but still the girls which are being born to these women they are having a normal foot size if they are not subjected to any kind of pressure or any kind of external pressure, and if they are let free they will acquire the normal size. So if a person having a nice height around 5'7" or 6, he is subjected to this restricted development in the feet. For some time in his life he will have a smaller feet or in his whole life he'll have a smaller feet. But the kids which are born to these type of people, it is not compulsory that they will be actually inheriting this smaller feet thing. So this is an important concept, that how the theory of Lamarck is actually not at all working. Lamarckism is actually failing in many of the cases. So I can see some of the students who are live, so they can write in the comment box if they are understanding the thing which I'm trying to explain. Um, so I'm just waiting that yes, okay, someone would comment that okay, we are understanding the thing. So is there any doubt in your mind, or if you want to study a particular topic, you can just write in the chat box, and I'll just take up your query, and we can just go through that particular topic in a detailed manner. Out of all the 13 units, you can also write about the other units also. So this is the thing. Now I would like to tell you about the significance of Lamarckism. That what are the significance of Lamarckism? If we are saying that yes, Lamarckism is there, so is it so that there is some significance of Lamarckism, or Lamarckism is just nothing? So there must be some significance also, because if it is there, there must be some of the significance of Lamarck's theory. So let us talk about the significance of Lamarck's theory. Just a second, let me just have this idea that yes, my voice is clear and you people are getting the clear voice, because I am just feeling that there is some lack of voice. So just a second. So okay, significant. So what could be the significance of Lamarck theory? So it actually tells us about use and disuse purpose. So yes, this is true that whatever understanding we have about the use and disuse thing, it is actually because of the Lamarck's idea that what actually a particular organ will develop into is because of its overuse or its underuse. That is what Lamarck is saying, that if you are overusing, it will develop into a more heightened organ, and if you are underusing, it will be not it won't be capable of developing into a very heightened organ. So use and disuse, then it is also clearly explaining about the giraffe's neck, and it was good enough till the neo-Darwinism. Good enough till neo-Darwinism. So this is how the Lamarck he gave his theory, and we have seen some of the significant features of the theory. I will just have a very quick revision about this. So Lamarck and Lamarckism. So what is evolution? It's a gradual heritable change, and this change should occur in genome, and it is based on the present criteria. If it is occurring, then it is related to the present criteria. Then theories of evolution, they were given by Darwin. He gave the theory of natural selection. Then Lamarck, he gave the theory of inheritance of acquired characters. Then Hugo de Vries, he gave the theory of mutation, and neo-Darwinism is the modern theory. Then Lamarckism is actually inheritance of acquired characters, and the postulates we have discussed in detail, and these postulates, they are actually related to the environmental changes. Environmental changes, they pose a very important role in the production of new characters. Then organs which are highly used will change into one way, and which are not used will change into one way. So example of the eyes of cavefish, they became degenerated after some time.
In giraffe next, because of its overuse, it got developed into a sleeker, slender neck. Then some simplified postulate which I told you. So that this thing Lamarckism, it occurs because of the new need, because of the use and disuse, and because of the inheritance of acquired characters, and this inheritance of acquired characters lead into speciation, as easy as this. Then examples we have seen about giraffe, we have seen about snakes, then we have seen about aquatic birds, we have seen about flightless birds. One more example I would like to add over here is about the horses. Horses, they have developed from a species of horses which used to live in a very soft and muddy place where they had n number of digits, more digits, and shorter limbs. But now when a horse, they migrated to a flat and hard area, they had the need to develop the sleeker limbs and a very sturdy feet. So development of horses is also supported by Lamarckism. Now the Lamarckism is actually not uh, supported by the scientific evidence. It is based on the comparison of the living organisms with the fossils. So it's a comparative study. It's not supported by any kind of scientific study. Then criticism was actually done by August Wiesmann, and here we saw the example of the tail length of rat. Then second we saw Pavlov's experiment. It was on the dogs, and then we saw the example of wrestler's body, ear and nose piercing, then Chinese women having smaller feet. And like this, we have covered the whole Lamarckism in detail along with all the examples which were actually needed. So please subscribe our channel, that is Let's Crack CSIR-UGC NET Life Science, and do not forget to like our channel, like our video. If you have understood the concept which I'm trying to deliver to you, please give it a thumbs up. It really motivates me. And please hit the bell icon for getting all the notifications of the upcoming videos, and subscribe our channel. And last but not the least, do not forget to use my referral code, that is FB01, for getting a 10% discount. So you will be getting a 10% discount if you are using my referral code, that is FB01. So just use my code and keep on learning, keep on understanding. And you can write in the chat box down if you want a particular topic to be explained by me from all the 13 units. You can write whichever topic you are feeling that you need to understand it. You can write the topic over there, and we will try to cover that topic in the upcoming classes. So this is it for today's class. We'll be meeting tomorrow with some other interesting lectures related to evolution, because we are doing evolution month in the this month of November. So we'll be completing this unit evolution in this month, and this is it for today's class. We will again